This is an important day, it's an important hearing, and it's an important moment as we head into a new administration. Because it's not just Russia, but when we talk about the cyber threats posed by national security actors, they are a full scope threat across the spectrum to every business, small, medium, and large. And those who move quickly to figure out how they're going to mitigate risk, how they're going to work with government in the case of an attack, and how the government is going to respond and impose deterrence or costs on those who would attack their companies is going to be vital to determining next year and the years to come winners and losers in the business world. We are at a critical moment, an inflection point. Everything we value, we have moved from analog to digital space and connected to the internet. And what you're hearing today from the top professionals in the intelligence community and in the military, and from the Republican chair and the Democratic ranking, is that we're vulnerable. We haven't made the investments we need to respond to that threat.
I know you worked closely on this very issue. I mentioned you just stepped down in September, and one of your legacies is that you famously initiated the first case combining charges of hacking and terrorism as it related to the Chinese military, I believe. What did you learn in that experience that's relevant to today's hearing and the question about Russian hacking, alleged Russian hacking into the U.S. election?
Yeah, and let me distinguish two cases that I think you're referencing there. One was the first case, and this was against 5 members of the People's Liberation Army, Unit 61398. And what we saw there is that this was a group, and this was the military, this was their day job. Every day they got up in uniform at 9 o'clock Beijing time and attacked a full range of U.S. companies, from nuclear to solar to steel. And they also attacked both labor and management side. And I know that one thing the president-elect has placed a big premium on is making sure that we have fair trade. Well, it's not fair if a foreign adversary is using the second largest army in the world to steal day in and day out what our research and development produced. And it means that they were investing in stealing instead of in developing R&D. And what we showed, I think, in that case, which were criminal charges against specific actors by name, by face, in uniform, was that, well, number one, we can figure out who did it. It may be hard in cyber, but it's not impossible. Number two, we're willing to make it public. And number three, that we're willing to impose consequences. And in that case, it came in the form of a criminal indictment. And I think what you showed there is when we did that, combined with other actions, and showed that there are consequences, behavior changed. You are not seeing the same type of activity across the board from Chinese military actors against U.S. companies. And we need to make those changes because it's not a fair fight otherwise for companies. The other case that you referenced, which was the first case of someone charged with both terrorism and with cyber hacking, is a wake-up call to every retailer, every company out there in the United States, because this was an individual who stole what looked like a relatively small amount of personal identifiable information, names, addresses. Most companies today try to handle that in-house and don't tell anyone. In this case, if they had done that, what they would never have found out is that the guy on the other end wasn't some low-level crook. Instead, it was someone who, in Malaysia, was hooked up with one of the most notorious terrorists in the world at the time, a man named Junaid Hussain, who was located in Raqqa, Syria, at the heart of the Islamic State in Levant. And they were converting that stolen information from a trusted mainstream retailer into a kill list that then they were using Twitter to push back out to the United States and saying, kill these people by name, by address, with information we took from a U.S. company, from a U.S. retailer, kill them. So it can have literally life and death consequences. And what I'm afraid to say, but it's true, and is why it's so important that we focus on this, is we are just at the beginning of adversaries across the world, be they nation states or crooks. And you heard this from Admiral Rogers in the hearing today. Their capacity just continues to improve. So we need to keep pace with that.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.